Bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax your scalp, forehead, eyes, eyelashes, back of the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, and the back of the head. Relax your neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. So it's not just the nostrils, and it's not just the upper chest. You also breathe. When you breathe in, you have these lungs that are like balloons that are blowing up in a 360-degree fashion, not just in the top of the chest. We breathe in our lungs further down as well. So when you inhale, imagine the chest, the ribs, back of the thoracic region, the side, just all expanding and then contracting. And even for our lung health, it's good to not just be breathing up here in the chest. Try and imagine you're taking nice, full, deep breaths. And maybe you can hear sounds. So try not to go and investigate with the mind. Just allow the sounds to be there. And then just notice what might be arising in your mind. Put some space in between the thoughts. And just observe the mind with curiosity. No judgment. Try not to follow any stories. Don't get lost. Take a step back. And then bring to mind all these people of our life, very dear, precious loved ones. Who, if they were to be absent in our life, would change it considerably. And then there's those people in our life we couldn't care less, us strangers. And then there's those people in our life we wish weren't there. And then, all these people are equal, though. They wish to be happy. They wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want their future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it then? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and they're peaceful. They're shaped like lotus petals. Very beautiful. And they're looking at everybody equally, no matter how it is you're turning up this evening, this morning, whichever time zone you're in. He's accepting you exactly as you are. And he has a beautiful, sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. And his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. Compassion is developing a wish for beings to be free from suffering. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy. This is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajra Safa Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Safa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, and it overflows quite powerfully and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. And that includes you, because you hear the words you speak. And next is this purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you walk into a room, it's pitch black, and you just flick on that switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment to neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sabosidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sabosidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So we're working at a much more subtle level here. So imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the very subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita drita me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita Drita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, drita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Just imagine that. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And next is this power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this determination, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to, to refrain from harming, to not harm, becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions, more positive directions. So, Rinpoche used to talk about everything being on the tip of the wishes. So if it's on the tip of your wish to refrain from harming, but we have to decide. You've just got to decide. This is what I want to do. So first of all, rejoice in your incredible efforts, all the different practices everybody's done today. Fantastic. And then, it's late. For some of you, very late. So even more amazing that you've turned up here this time of night. So just rejoice in your efforts, everybody else's efforts. And then think about something you'd like to work on between maybe now and Monday. Some of you might be doing this practice over the weekend, so you can, for tomorrow as well. Just think of something that is harmful to you, maybe negative self-talk, harmful to other people, maybe gossip, something. And just focus on it for a little bit. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just a sort of these little tiny steps that we make in our practice, in our life, in our healing, this the consistency that has results. So this determination to refrain or to not harm gives us a kind of a leverage. So Vajrasattva imagines delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So he would say like this: in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So we can do 3 verses of the chanting the names of Manjushri. If you've got them. Okay. The wisdom of Immaculate Dhammadhatu. He is Mahavarachana, the Buddha, great sage, observing great intensive silence arising from the great mantra way. He is at heart the great mantra way, accomplished in the 10 paramitas, having the 10 paramitas as home, in whom the 10 paramitas are pure, for whom the 10 paramitas are means. Just need that extra verse. Whoops. Protector reigning over all 10 grounds, residing steadily on all 10 grounds, made pure in nature by the 10-fold knowledge, maintaining purity through 10-fold knowledge. Okay, that's our 3 for tonight. And let's just make a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then for all of your own individual teachers, because so you all come from different centers, you have different teachers there. So make a strong wish for them to live long. All right, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for hosting, Michael, and lots of love, everybody. And we do have a Tara practice on Sunday. It's, I think, meditation in accordance with the times or something, but we'll do an extensive practice on Tara and meditate and mantra and stuff like that. Okay. Lots of love. I will see you guys either on Sunday or next week. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.